or there would have this found in raid sort of mechanic, because that would just it's just one of the worst mechanics that has been implemented in Tarkov just in general. And so you know, we genuinely believe that it would need to be something that that needs to be implemented is just PvE, because that's what a majority of people want. But we would have the and that's the other thing too. The types of loot that you'd have to get rid of the rarity. You'd have to get rid of the rarity ratings on weapons for the extraction shooter as well. And have them do damage based on ammo type rather than anything else. Because if you don't do it based off damage type and you do it based off of rarity, an issue occurs in where someone finds something that should be good but isn't good because reasons. Like with Tarkov, you don't have rarity. Granted, you do have weapon, whatchamacallit, you do have weapon durability, but you don't have a rarity. And like a weapon with 10 durability, woo, we made it. A weapon with 10 durability is still going to do the same damage as a weapon with 100% durability. But yeah, it would be really hard to, it's honestly, probably, it's probably so hard that they're not even going to attempt to do it, but it'd be really hard to get Fortnite and its engine to be a decent extraction shooter, just simply because the extraction shooter is so different, to the Battle Royale shooter. Maybe he had a better shotgun. Did he? I don't know. It was just uncommon. He had more jump things. We don't need jump things, apparently. I don't know. And like, the one thing that got us into Tarkov when Tarkov came out is we thought it was going to be a Battle Royale. Because that's how it was sort of marketed. Because it came out, or at least we heard about it, right around the same time PUBG and Fortnite were still relatively new. They were still, like, growing. They weren't what they are today. And so what we heard was Battle Royale. You know, you go in, you fight entities, you fight PvE as well as PvP. And then you have to get out, or like you have to be like the last one standing. We're like, oh, that sounds relatively neat, and we got into it only to find out that it wasn't anything what we were expecting, which it happens. It happens quite a bit. And so it took us a while. It probably took us 50-60 hours to get used to Tarkov and what Tarkov actually was, which we don't think at the time there was anything like Tarkov. We don't think an extraction shooter was not just a well-known title, but a title just in general. We could be very wrong on that, because we're not too into the gaming scene to where Cube. We're not deep enough into the gaming scene, and Artism isn't enough for us to know if Tarkov was the first extraction shooter. We want to say that it was, just simply because at the time when it came out, it was the only one that we knew of, and it, again, wasn't called an extraction shooter. So, yeah, we don't know if and again, because of the way that Fortnite was created, it being a wave shooter or a horde shooter, and then a battle royale, we don't think the game has the means to be an extraction shooter, because like there's no lobby in the traditional sense of like an extraction shooter where you're back at your quote-unquote hideout and you have this equipment stash or anything like that. You don't have any hideouts, you don't have any workbenches, you don't have any of that. Now granted, they could do it in a way like you would have it in your typical brain rot game, where there is a lobby and you do have like a whole bunch of chests and things like that. We just don't think that is how the extraction shooter community does things. We don't know, because it's like we don't foresee Tarkov players coming over to Fortnite when their extraction shooter mode comes out. It's just not something that we can foresee happening. Like, it's not going to attract anybody new. Especially since, as far as we're aware right now, it's mostly Disney-centric. Disney characters. Again, we're hoping that it's not pure Disney. But it might be, which is just depressing as fuck. And again, there's not much going on in what Epic has set up with Fortnite that has us believe that they're gonna pull it off in a way. Oh, we can get up here. Yeah. But yeah, we don't think Epic has the, we guess, whereabouts, or we're not in a good spot. We just don't think they have the head on their shoulders, essentially, to be able to make an extraction shooter with what they have going on. At least not make it we don't know if it's going to be a game mode or something inside of Fortnite. If it is, they're definitely gonna fail on the aspect of extraction shooter. And we think that is something that, we don't know, their head CEO, their development. This person has no idea what's going on. I don't know what that person was doing. But yeah, we just don't see Epic having the whereabouts. Just sit there and take it, bitch. Jesus. We don't think Epic has the whereabouts to make a good extraction shooter. At least not as an extension of what Fortnite is. We think it would need to be a completely different game. Yeah, we think it would have to be a completely different game, standalone game, for them to make it decent. And we just don't think that they have. They're obviously they're not going to do it. And son of a bitch. Now we just think that's depressing. Like, we don't know. There's a ton of things that we disagree with, obviously, when it comes to Epic being Epic and doing what Epic does best at this point in time. Now, granted, don't get us wrong, Epic used to have a moral compass. They used to... They actually used to have... you know, the head on their shoulder to... But yeah, they used to have a moral compass that they would be able to... Damn, that's far. I guess we'll go for it. Yeah, top 10 anyway. Right? Wow, he blanked. He blanked so hard there. That poor man. An assist. Big money. We've lost the game, chat. God, full damage. It's depressing. Two victories. It's kind of crazy. Damn. What the fuck? We leveled up twice in that? That's crazy! What's going on? 115%? Oh, a little sweaty there, chat. Big money! We got big money last. Oh, we thought we were gonna die to big money.